Good day, good people, and welcome to Real Chicks Rock Presents Real Discussions. I'm your host, Michelle Dawes-Burt, and as always, I'm super excited to be with you here on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. It is absolutely gorgeous here in Atlanta today. Friday, not so much. It was rainy, it was cold, we had to pull out the coats again. But today, God saw a favor. It feels like springtime here in Atlanta, so we're super excited today. Listen, I want to welcome all of the new listeners, and thanks for all the existing supporters. Let me just give you a little bit of background about what Real Chicks Rock is all about. It's all about creatively collaborating to connect and raise awareness regarding issues that impact women. And we do it by way of community service engagement, public speaking, mentoring, workshops, and the arts. We've been fortunate to be doing this podcast since April of 2016. I know I'm going to pat myself on the back. Yeah, it's been doing. Get it. Yes, thank you so much. We've been doing it for a while, and it's these type of guests that we've had that keeps us going, because we want to empower our listeners. We want to give them an opportunity to tell us what's going on in their neighborhoods, in their communities, in their legislation. It's an opportunity today, and I'm super excited. I'm super excited for my guest today. Today, my guest is Teresa Thomas-Smith, Mayor Teresa Thomas-Smith. How are you?
I am extraordinary, friend. How are you?
I am good. Welcome
Thank
here.
You.
Welcome. Today's topic is we got things to do for Palmetto, Georgia.
Yes, we do.
Don't we?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we got a lot. We're going to get to it. So Mayor, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
I am from Southwest Atlanta.
That's right. I knew that. I just love when people say that, because
I am from Adamsville.
Ooh,
yeah, that's really Southwest. That's real Southwest
really.
Absolutely, yes.
Yes.
So that's my home. That's where I was. My grandmother said you raise cattle, not children. So that's where I was reared.
Yes.
And that's it.
Yeah. How was it growing up in that neighborhood? Exciting, fun?
Oh my God. I believe I had the most fun childhood in Adamsville.
Really?
I went to Lenore Precious Miles Elementary School. Shout out to LP Miles.
Yes.
It was a place where the teachers loved the children loved the teachers, the principals were great, down to our custodians. You know, it was a lot of love in the community. It was lots of children. Children played outside back then. So we had lots and lots of friends where we played outside, and we just had that community. And it's extended to high school. I went to Benjamin Elijah Mays House Scouts.
Shout out to Mays High School. I know the
most amazing
I know a lot of good people that went there. Yes.
So it continued into high school. So, you know, just growing up again with a sense of community, that's always been a part of my experience. So I love that, and I'm grateful for this opportunity to bring a sense of community to a community.
Yeah. As a young person in Adamsville, did you feel people pouring into you? Did you have a sense of what you wanted to be or do at a young age, Mayor?
I don't know that I ever had a sense of what I wanted to be or do, because I have always been kind of a free spirit.
Okay, I feel that right now.
So there you go. So I never just tied down to one thing, and I have been able to build a beautiful human experience by doing a lot of things, because I always just do things I love.
Okay.
And when I don't love them anymore, I don't do them anymore.
You stop?
Yeah, I stopped doing them.
Okay.
So, but there were always those pillars in the community, you know, the neighbors who loved you, who saw you. You know, the teachers, again, who saw you.
Yes.
Because there are those that, you know, lump all the children together.
Right.
And then there are those that see the children that need to be seen.
There you go. So, and it's amazing that, you know, one of my favorite teachers actually lives in my community. Until they redrew the line, she actually lived in Palmetto. And I remember in sixth grade, she was our sixth grade teacher. And I just remember she said she lived in Palmetto, and to us that was out of town. Yeah.
That was completely out of town.
Yes.
Your brain couldn't wrap around it.
Yes.
And now to not only live there, but to be the mayor and CEO of that city is mind blowing.
Yeah.
Just to say that I'm the mayor
I
and
know
CEO
it.
is mind blowing.
I know.
Yes.
We're going to get to that part. So,
Yes.
so Adamsville, people, the teachers, the neighborhood, the community, you're just loving Atlanta at this time.
Yes.
You went to Mays High School. A lot of great people went there.
Yes,
I think the current mayor of Atlanta went to Mays.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact,
He
we grew
did.
up in the same subdivision in
that-
Adamsville.
You
He
see what
is
I'm
from
talking about?
Ridgecrest Forest in Adamsville.
You see? I think some
Yes,
great people
same
came out of there.
subdivision.
Mhm.
So, absolutely.
So with all this going on in Atlanta, how did you end up in Palmetto? How did you get there?
You know, I can tell you some stories about how I believe I got there.
Okay.
But I believe more than anything, that's about the time I started really hearing the voice that now guides my life.
I hear you. Okay.
So it was more of a following without knowing what I was following, and a knowing that it was the right thing to do without knowing what that was going to look like or be.
Right.
So that's the real reason
Okay.
I'm in Palmetto.
Okay.
We are, because it wasn't just me. My whole
Your whole family.
uprooted the whole family.
Yeah.
We had a daughter at that time that was going to high school.
Where was she going?
She was coming out of the Atlanta public school system and going to Northgate High School in Coweta County.
Well, she didn't like you at that point.
No. It was very challenging.
Yes.
So, it wasn't just me. It was literally
whole family.
uprooting the family. So this was a trust mama as she trusts God that I couldn't articulate then, but I knew it was time to go.
And at the time, Mayor, that you moved, I don't want to say backwards. Let's just say further south.
Yes.
Right? Did you feel any objections in the neighborhood? Did you feel that people didn't want you there? Or was it really starting to gel into a community where all were welcomed?
So there's two parts to that.
All right. We'll take both parts.
So Palmetto, the city, which is comprised of two counties. There's Fulton County, and there's a little sliver of Coweta County.
Yes. Okay.
So Palmetto, the city, yes, very warm, very family city.
Yes. Okay.
Very family city. I'm going to leave it there. There's some very family city, very embracing, just real old school.
Yes.
But then I also live in Coweta County.
Okay.
Coweta County, not exactly the same.
At that time.
At that time,
yes,
20 years ago, because this year, literally last week, was our 20th year being in the city.
Yes.
We moved February the 27th, 2004.
Wow.
And we have been there now 20 years. So, yes, we made friends in the community.
Gotcha.
Just meeting people, because I am a friendly person. I talk to everybody. So just meeting people, made friends in the community. But again, on the Coweta County side, it was not the same experience. To the point where when we moved, I worked for an organization that was led by a self-proclaimed Dixiecrat.
Oh, Dixiecrat. Okay. All right. Please explain.
That is a person who tends to vote Democratic with the Democratic Party. But still has a Dixie mentality at their core. And he was self-proclaimed.
Wow.
So when I told him where I was moving, his response was, "Why would you move there? You know they don't want you." Wow. Well, at that point, it was too late. We had already signed the papers. So there was no going back. There was nothing.
Guess who's come to dinner?
It's like, right. It was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
And there were some times that we were never, can't say never. There were very few overt overtures.
I hear you. Yeah.
But I mean, this is the South.
Yeah.
So you kind of bake that in, especially when you're from here. It's kind of baked into the experience. So you don't get caught up on that. And I was feeling a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
When we first moved, because I have small children, and there had been, I think, maybe one, if not two stories within the first year of us living there that there were black men that were found hung from trees that were suicides. So, you know, that doesn't make you feel very comfortable.
No.
Again, on that side.
Right.
And my community, which is a very nice community, is in both Fulton and Coweta County. So it wasn't in the community again. It was when you travel outside of the city of Palmetto, and now you're in the in the county.
This is in the 2000s.
This is
1960 something. This is 2000s.
Yeah.
That people were found hanging from a tree.
Yes.
All right.
So, and it was one experience where my car overheated.
Okay.
I'd run down to Noonan and pick up whatever I was going to get, and my car overheated. And it overheated as soon as I got on the freeway, so it wasn't even close enough where I could back up and get off. But when I pulled over, another car pulled over because I got the hood up and steam is everywhere, and another car pulls over. And it's an older white gentleman. He gets out, and he comes over, and he was like, "Baby, you got something to take the top off with?" And all I had was a diaper. My son was probably two years old, so I had a diaper in the back of the car. And I can remember this so clearly. And he comes over and he opens it out, and steam just comes out. He's like, "Baby, you bone dry."
Yeah.
And he said, "I just fixed the car, so I don't have anything to put in it." He said, "But we can walk up here and get you something."
Okay.
Well, at this moment, another little beat up pickup truck pulls over.
Right.
And two guys get out. Two white guys, tattooed up, bald heads.
Oh God.
It is dusk.
Yes.
So it's starting to get dark.
Yes.
And they're walking towards me, and I'm like, "Oh God, I'm gonna die." You know, I hadn't even called him to tell him where I was. It was just like, I'm gonna die. And the two guys start walking, and then one of them stops. They start talking, and one of them goes back to his truck, and I'm like, "Okay, this is it."
Yeah.
And he comes back, and he's got 2 jugs with him.
All right.
And he commences to pour. He asked me to crank my truck, and he commences to pour into my truck. And when I got out to say thank you, he said, "Don't let nobody tell you nothing bad about those Coweta boys."
Wow.
And I can't say that I had a complete turnaround in my experience, but I had a complete turnaround how I choose to view my experience.
I got you.
I was no longer going to be on the side of, "Oh my God, it's going to be terrible."
Yeah.
To say, I'm not going to let anybody tell me anything bad. I'm going to let the experience be what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been good.
And you know, Mayor, because your steps have been ordered,
there you go.
You had this hedge of protection. But it is these experiences, we believe, that drove you to be the woman that you are today, right? Because
absolutely.
You see change. And so I want to talk to you. I want to fast forward just a little bit. Now that you're in Palmetto, and you're in the city of Palmetto, and you're neighborly, and you're meeting people, and you're starting to feel a sense. Is it at that time you decide to run for city council?
Oh no!
How did that come about?
Again, it's one of those things. You just know what you know when you know it.
Yeah.
You know, we had been there for 15 or so years, but probably about year 8 or 9.
Okay.
Maybe about year 10.
Okay.
When I was traveling for work, but I would go to council meetings because I just wanted to see what was happening.
I heard that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I had never gone to a council meeting anywhere I ever lived, ever in my life. So again, that's just a knowing to go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And after a few years of popping in here and there, because again, I traveled quite a bit, so just kind of popping in and out, it was just kind of a, what's happening?
I got you.
You know what?
Yeah.
Some of this stuff doesn't make sense. You know, it just it doesn't sound
right. Yeah.
So then I started asking questions. And the then mayor asked, "Miss Smith, do you hold public office?" And I told him, "Not yet, sir."
You said
that was that night. That was that night.
He said, "Not yet."
Little did I know.
Right.
And in a way, I was just really kind of just being a little smart mouth.
Okay.
But our words have power.
Yeah.
And we give them life when we speak them. So I do believe that was probably the moment.
Yes.
Without even me knowing it's the moment. Yeah. That was probably the moment.
That was it. And so were you appointed mayor, or did you have to run for the seat?
I actually ran for city council.
Yes.
I wasn't sure. Again, I kept, I have these conversations with God.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
What we doing? Are you serious? You know this Teresa from Adamsville, right?
Right.
Not the other Teresa. I'm sure it's another one somewhere. But you know this me, right, God? You know.
Yeah.
You know this me.
Yeah, he knows exactly.
And I talked to my husband, and then he was like, babe.
Yeah.
What you doing?
Yeah. What's going on?
I'm like, babe, I don't know. I got to do it. He's like, I don't know if we want to do this.
Right.
Because it's we. It's a we.
It's a we.
And so I told him I was traveling, actually, and I filled out the papers for both the mayor and for city council.
Oh.
And I had my checks ready for both, and I just waited, and I called to make sure that my husband could do it for me, and they were like, sure you can. And I called him on the day, and I said, do it for the city council.
Okay.
Because I needed to know more than what I knew. I knew what I knew from this side of the dais. Yeah. Now I need to know what I know from the other side. And
most mayors are city council people usually before they're in mayor.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. Mm-hmm. But it helps though.
It could.
It could help. Okay.
It could. Not that it doesn't. I mean,
it's
that's
not a
real qualifier.
It's
not a real qualifier.
Mm-hmm.
But that was again just me following my ordained steps.
Yeah. Come on now. Come on.
So making sure that I heard correctly.
Yes.
Went for the city council. There were 7 names on the ballot.
Wow. It's a big ballot.
That's a big, because small town, Palmetto is one of the few cities that manages its own elections.
Really?
The county does not manage the elections.
Fulton County doesn't touch it?
Fulton County has nothing to do with our elections. Not on So
minimizes corruption.
Well,
I said it, Mayor. You didn't have to say it.
So
minimizes. Helps to minimize
that part. So there were 3 people running for mayor. 3 men, 2 black men. I think they were the first 2 black men to run for mayor. And don't quote me on that, but I think they were.
Okay.
And they ran against the incumbent mayor, who had been mayor since 1986, with the exception of 4 years.
Wow.
One person serving as the mayor for a very long time.
Long time.
So now you've got a town that is a city that is predominantly black, splitting the black vote between 2 men.
Wow.
So the incumbent mayor won again by 19 votes. There were 7 people on the ballot for city council. We vote for the top 3, the top 3 vote getters. And there were 9 votes that separated me from the incumbent of 8 years, I think.
Wow.
As a newcomer, as a non-native of the city. So it was big.
It was huge.
It was big.
That was change right there.
It was change. Well, I came in campaigning. I come from organized labor.
I was going to ask you, did you campaign?
Oh, I campaigned. I love to campaign.
Boots to the ground.
Boots on the ground. We knock doors.
Yeah, hand out flyers.
We do all of that.
Yeah.
So we did that my first, we had literally standing on the corner with our signs.
Yeah.
We knocked on, it was a full campaign.
It was.
But it was a small campaign. I didn't step outside of what I was comfortable doing.
And Mayor, let me ask you, what was one of the things you wanted to see implemented or change? One of the changes you wanted to see as a city council person?
Transparency.
Just transparency.
And communication. Even on the council, I didn't know as much as I thought I should know as a council member. We would go to meetings and people would talk about things, and all the people from Palmetto are sitting there looking like deer in the headlights because we had no clue what they were talking about.
Wow.
Because our mayor hadn't shared it with us. He was there for a very long time. And the council often were people who were really dedicated to him and believed in him or something. I don't know. I can't speak to why they were there. But yeah, it was it was time to do something different to get something different. Mm-hmm. And it still is.
It still is.
And it always is. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, when you get too comfortable in any space, and the city had gotten very comfortable with him there, not necessarily liking it,
right,
but comfortable.
Yeah, just used to it.
Just used to it. Mm-hmm. So, but I was there for the people from the day I got there.
Okay.
And they knew it. Mm-hmm. You know, I went out and, again, knocked on doors to meet people, because I don't just want you to see my signs that were beautiful. I want you, yeah, they were purple and green. Purple and green is beautiful as a color combination. But
you were talking and meeting the people.
Yeah,
your constituents.
Just you know, greeting. But that's who I am.
Yeah,
it wasn't me being the candidate. Mm-hmm. It was a Teresa that just happened to be a candidate.
Just being a human being,
being a kind human to other humans. Mm.
How was the economy back then when you were city council? Were jobs available in Palmetto, or even realistically, were people able to buy homes and home ownership was the thing then, or what?
So I was elected in November 2019. Mm. What happened just a few months later?
COVID, the pandemic. Oh, man.
So my serving
was
kicked
virtual.
into high gear. Yeah. No, it wasn't virtual. No? I was out in the community.
Wow.
We were getting supplies. We were, you know, I had a nice little team of people. Shout out to all of you. I love you. Everybody that donated and made sure that we were able to do things in Palmetto. Yeah. We had everything. We served breakfast and lunch every day for 18 months through the pandemic.
Wow.
Literally drive up, hot meals prepared already. If you came up and said, I'm feeding 20 people, I need 20 lunches. If you're feeding 3 people, we fed everybody.
Everybody for 18
It didn't matter
months.
if you were a child or an adult. For 18 months, we made sure that people had food boxes. We partnered with organizations and churches, and people were constantly reaching out, because I've always been this Teresa.
Yes.
So all of the relationships I have are transformative, we're real relationships, gotcha. Not anything transactional where we're just, you call me, hey, I need this, and you come bring it to me. Yeah. This was where people were reaching out to me and saying, hey, friend, I saw that you're the city councilwoman now. Mm-hmm. How can my company donate some food boxes to your city to make sure that you have people with food in their homes? Wow. That went on for the entire pandemic. We couldn't go anywhere, so people were sheltered in their homes, but we did something called Art on the Lot, where we just said, bring the kids to the recreation center. Mm-hmm. We put tables out on the lot. We planted seeds. We did coloring, did things on the parking lot so we could be outside versus being inside. But I was still trying to bring the community together. Going to check on the senior citizens. Do you need anything? So people got to know me during a pandemic. I wasn't sitting in my home, you know.
You didn't have time to be scared.
No.
You were serving.
No. You elected me. That's what I'm supposed to do. I didn't know what else to do. I thought that's what they elected me for. I thought that's what they elected all of us for. There's 7 people that sit there's a mayor and 6 council members. There's 7 of us. So my mind says that's what we were supposed to be doing. But even when we served lunch, you know, it was drive up. You know, so we'd have a line around the building, but I loved doing it. So every week, at the beginning of the week, I would go and buy fresh flowers and make sure flowers were on the table. I would stage the lunches so when you saw them, they were beautifully sitting on the table. You know, we had people that worked with us that enjoyed taking them to the car and having conversation with their neighbors. So it was bringing community back together again to that community that I grew up with. Where neighbors knew each other. And they loved each other and they took care of each other. All of my parents knew all of the people in our community.
It's a power in serving.
It is. I love it.
It keeps you humble too. And connected.
Yeah. It's the connected part that
your face is lighting up. Mayor, your face is lit up. You are so excited to serve. Just a genuine heart.
I will tell you, every day. I try not to cry. They call me the crying mayor because I do. I cry. I tell them it's love and gratitude just pours out of my eyes. That's what it is. But every day when I wake up and I get my consciousness back.
Yes.
I'm here. Mm-hmm. I'm here again. Gotta look around, check, make sure he's next. Okay.
Right.
I'm here again. And all I can say is, God, thank you for choosing me again. Wow. So because you chose me again, I got to go to work again. Just because you chose me. Because I made some commitments and I said I would do some things. And it was a long time ago. And then I got good with it, so I started writing it. Yeah, what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm doing this. I did this. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. And now I'm doing this. So, yeah, I'm doing this.
Being on the city council, Mayor, was that a full-time responsibility or you still had a job as well?
No, I still had a job. So, interestingly enough, I started my own business. My job that I loved, laid me off in 2017. Oh. No, God had been preparing me for it.
Okay.
And kind of nudging me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this job is good. Nope, not going to leave. It is really, really, really good.
Did you hear the nope?
Nope. I had the best of all worlds. I had a job that allowed me to travel.
Yeah.
It gave me the ability to see the world. Yeah. It gave me the ability to connect with people from all over and fine-tune my coaching and my leadership skills. It gave me all the, my husband could travel with me. We sometimes could take the grandkids. It was
you
just
having a ball.
And they paid me really well.
Oh, so I was
right,
like, that part.
I'm not leaving. But in 2016, they started talking about it. I had been on a 3-month assignment, and I kept saying, this ain't what I signed up for. Not to be gone for 3 months at a time.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah, I can't do that. Come home for 2 weekends and 3 months. That's not what I signed up for. I don't want to do this. And I kept saying, I don't know what I would be doing next, but I don't want to do this anymore. Mm-hmm. I didn't know it was going to mean I had to give up my whole job. I thought it just meant that position. Yeah, that position. Mm-hmm. But no, God took that job, and I started my own business. Okay. Coaching, doing leadership development. And I did, pretty good.
That's good.
But due to my own, limiting beliefs.
You got in your own way? I translated that. You said it really nice, but you got in your own way.
And wouldn't put myself out there.
Yeah, we most of us don't. But
even though people all over the place asking me, "Where's your show?
Yeah,
where's your this? Where can we see you? When are you doing a retreat?" And I'm just like, "No, I'm gonna do it." But that other little voice in my head, that little imposter syndrome that still sometimes shows up, was like, don't do that. So again, it was all OJT for this. Everything in this experience that I have had from childhood as I can remember to today. Yeah. Every element of it can be used in this part of my experience right now. So I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So, serving on the council was just Teresa. Now just is Teresa the council member, not Councilwoman Teresa. Yeah. You know what I mean? Teresa just happens to be a councilwoman. Even now as the mayor, I never really lead unless I'm in a political space that I'm the mayor. Yeah. Most people don't know it till somewhere deep down into the conversation because you've gotten to know me, the person, first. Because if I tell you I'm anything other than just Teresa, then you're going to put me in a box. Yeah. And you're going to treat me a certain way. But if I just show up, and I just show up as me, then I get to be me a lot. And then you get to, now I'm Teresa. Right. That just happens to be the mayor.
Now that you were a councilwoman for 4 years and now that you're a mayor, have you seen changes? And it's probably an unfair question because you just said it. You got appointed, you became a member, and then COVID happened. And so now we're starting to get outside. Now we're outside. Are you sensing more of the neighborhoods or the community or the city thriving more, or people wanting to live in Palmetto? I really want to get a sense of the economic landscape because everybody loves Atlanta.
Yes.
I'm not from Atlanta. I'm from New York. But I've been here since 89.
Okay.
So I've seen the swelling of it, right?
Yes.
And I remember when you could buy a home, because my first home was in Noonan. And I remember you could get a home for $110. When I talk like this to my son who's 16, he can't believe it because he sees signs for $500,000,
400,000 and up.
8, 9 in the
Yes.
city, 1.1.
Yes.
So he can't put his head around the
Yes.
fact that somebody working a job, if you had a W-2,
Yep.
could get a little starter home.
That's right.
Right? 110.
Yep.
They used to be in the 90s.
Yep.
95,
Yep.
97.5. Then you get 3% down, first time home buyer assistance,
Look,
right?
and then you had a little piece of land to go
and a little
with
piece
it.
of land, little yard
Yeah,
to cut.
little
So you
yard,
run to Home Depot,
yeah.
get a little lawnmower,
Yeah.
you hand push. So now people with jobs, even making 6 figures, Mayor,
Yeah.
can't afford a home. So
Yeah.
is Palmetto starting to, are you seeing people coming and buying up land and building homes down there since Atlanta's getting tight?
So again, we had the same mayor for a long time.
All right, I'm gonna look this way.
Let's start with that part. There were some decisions that were made to grow Palmetto in some ways that are, and it wasn't just the mayor. You know, you have all these studies done, and people come in and tell you how they think your land should be used.
Okay.
So, and and the count that goes before planning and zoning, and council votes on it, all kinds of things. So
Yes.
there was a lot of people involved in it. So Palmetto has a lot of warehouses right now. A lot of, Microsoft is building a data center in Palmetto.
I didn't know that.
Yes, huge data center. The United States Postal Service has put a ginormous warehouse facility
in
Palmetto, a processing facility
Wow.
in Palmetto. And there's some other entities that have moved down.
Yes.
So we've got that part of the city, and fortunately that's on the north side of the city.
Okay.
So it's all kind of contained in that general area.
Right.
And then you've got the heart of the city. So there are townhomes that are being built. There's some beautiful homes, but I think that subdivision may be sold out now. But Palmetto has an issue with water and sewer, so where our development is at a place where it's not going to be able to grow as much as we would like it to grow right now.
Okay.
We've got some infrastructure issues we need to deal with, and again, that's one of those things that wasn't shared, hasn't really been shared with the community.
Right.
So now I've inherited it, and now we're looking for ways to improve upon our existing system, which is almost 100 years old. Palmetto has a water system that can treat our water, but as we grow, that system doesn't have the capacity to handle too much more development.
Right.
So we've got to be very, very, very smart with our development. And houses are things that are coming. Like I said, they're building lots of townhouses, but we're kind of having to slow our growth because of that. Now, can we take care of what we have existing?
Yes.
So we are looking for the businesses that have been closed down for years and years, because we do have a downtown that has been dead, isolated.
Wow.
Closed down. Ghost town.
Wow.
For years. Years and years. So now we're looking to bring businesses back into downtown, welcoming those businesses into the community, so that we're not just traveling outside to get everything we need.
Yeah, you should be able to get it in your own
Recreation, everything. Bringing those things back into the city.
Yeah.
For the families that are moving into these townhomes.
Is it a conversation, Mayor, perhaps with the governor of Georgia to help with the infrastructure, with the water and sewer problem? Is it with the Corps of Engineers, like people like that can help, ideally see it holistically and can help understand where and how to improve? Is it those type of conversations we need to have?
I believe those conversations could add value.
Okay.
Palmetto, 22 years ago, Palmetto, Fairburn, and Union City entered into a water authority. Those 3 cities. In 22 years, the authority has not produced any water for those 3 cities. So each city is still responsible for getting its own water. Union City gets all of its water from the city of Atlanta. Fairburn gets its water from the city of Atlanta. And the industrial clients on the north side of Palmetto get their water from city of Atlanta. So I am new to the authority.
I understand.
So I'm learning my way around it.
Yeah.
And that is one of those things I would be encouraged to ask.
Yeah.
We've actually got a meeting on Tuesday.
Look at that.
So that's one of those meetings because there's a lot of engineers and a lot of consultants and a lot of money has been spent, but no water has been produced yet. And again, each city is left to fend for themselves. How you make up for that shortage in your city, whether whether for us it's what our plant can't produce.
Right.
So we do purchase some water from Coweta County. So again, we're left supplementing, even though we're in this water authority together that should have made us self-sufficient.
Exactly.
And able to, do our own thing by now in 22 years, I would think.
Yeah, and let's keep it a buck. Like Georgia, there's Atlanta and there's Georgia.
Yeah.
Atlanta's dead in the middle of Georgia. There's no water.
Absolutely.
And we're grateful for the rain because that helps.
Yes.
But when our weatherman is telling us, there's times and seasons we can't water our lawn if we don't have the water, if the rain doesn't come. So we are, geographically where we're situated can be a desert. We've been blessed that when it rains, we do get the rainy seasons, and that helps tremendously. But if we get a super hot summer, and
the Chattahoochee starts to dry,
we all feel that.
So that's one of those things that when we start talking about sustainability and conservation, those are the things that we're talking about, that we're making sure that when we develop and when we redevelop, that we're bringing those conversations to the table as well. It's important that builders come in. Again, what happened before me, no control over that.
We can't.
But as builders and developers want to come in the city, my question is, how do you add value to this experience?
Exactly.
How do you put back into the community?
Exactly.
Stop just taking.
Yeah.
Because you'll come and you'll make your development and you'll leave. You'll sell it and you're gone.
Listen, that ran me out of Fairburn.
Yeah.
I used to live in Fairburn.
Oh, wow.
I moved out in December of 2019, because of all of the industrial warehouses that have been built up on the beautiful South Fulton Parkway. And the trees are gone, and there's these big, and when I saw them build a warehouse across the street from the elementary, junior high school, and high school that we were zoned for, I said, I think,
that's crazy.
It's time to go.
But you know how that happens, because we are not going to, and I can't say we now because I'm not really allowed to go.
Tell us,
because
Mayor.
the citizens are not engaged enough to go to these planning and zoning committee meetings and say, I don't want this in my community.
I know. And the thing is, Mayor, when we find out about it, it had already been on the table years ago.
That's usually how it happens.
And what I noticed, Mayor, I'm driving and I see a little zoning sign. I can't see that when I'm driving.
When you're driving, exactly.
What is that? And they put it out maybe a day or two before the meeting's actually happening.
It's more than a day or two, but again, it's very strategic. How it's placed. And again, I'm saying this as a mayor, but as a council member, as a city, as a resident, I took issue with that. Why can't we put a bigger sign? There are some cities that have much bigger signs. They can put it on a banner. Yeah, we can make it, because sometimes they don't want the people to come.
They don't want us to come.
Right?
But as a citizen, as a constituent, what should we do? Are these type of zoning meetings on a calendar typically for the city for us to even ask and inquire, or we have to trust these little posters that are going to be outside to tell us?
So, as the new mayor of the city of Palmetto,
come on, Mayor, tell them.
I have asked our city clerk that every public meeting be put on our calendar as soon as we know that meeting is happening.
Thank you.
Because again, I was not always on this side of the desk. Right. I wasn't always in this seat, and I'm sitting on the other side, and I too am frustrated. But then I couldn't be mad at anybody but me for not going to the meetings. Again, that's kind of helped steer me to know that city council was where I could put some of this energy that I had for this city that I have grown to love so dearly, that we would stop putting, because we talk about warehouses. Yes. But what comes with warehouses?
Big trucks.
Big trucks.
Big trucks.
And they will tear up your roads.
They tear up your roads.
And these are state highways mostly.
Yes.
These are state highways. So it's not like you really have any jurisdiction over how they get fixed and repaired and all these different things and how they get structured. And the city has no real jurisdiction over that. These are state highways. So we're at their mercy. And that now you're talking about air quality. To me, that's an air quality issue now.
And for me as a motorist, just safety. Because
Safety.
half the time, and this is no dig to drivers, they can't see.
No,
and
they
even
can't.
last night, just coming in from something, the visibility can hit really poorly with
Yes.
the weather and rain, and they're driving these big 18-wheel rigs, and it's 2 roads, it's 2 lanes on South
Yes.
Fulton Parkway, and you can't see it, and it's safety, and it is the air, and it's gas, and it's the roads, and it's a lot. And I don't necessarily want to live with that in my neighborhood, not my backyard.
You know what? That's a real thing called NIMBY. Not in my backyard. That's almost a political term. It's called NIMBY. Not in my backyard.
Not in my backyard.
So that's a real thing. But now the question becomes, it's here. What do we do?
I know.
It's here. Again, these are things that happened before.
Yeah, we get
and
aware.
we've still got zoned for, people that is zoned for
Yeah,
warehousing.
I
That
understand.
land is sold.
Yeah.
So at any given point, they can still come and add more warehouses to our city.
But why South Fulton Parkway when you had Fulton Industrial? Perfectly named for such a type of environment. It's almost dormant. It
because
doesn't.
somebody bought the story.
Okay. All right.
Somebody drank the Kool-Aid. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have to say that in all fairness and in all transparency, the city budgets are generated off of revenue.
Mm.
And that's your most important document outside of your city charter is your budget.
Mm-hmm.
Here are the things we want, and here's the way we're going to pay for it.
Okay.
If you don't do something,
Mm-hmm.
then that leaves the citizens having to pay for it, and that's how you get really high taxes.
Okay. Okay.
So in all fairness, something had to be done. So I can't say that, while I can't say that I agree with 18 warehouses or however many, I think we're supposed to end up with like 20 warehouses in 11.8 square miles.
My mouth's open.
I don't know that I would have made the same decisions because you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And that I wasn't the leader and I don't know what else was happening. And, I do know that our neighbors to the north of us, both Union City and Fairburn, began building warehouses before we did.
Yes.
And we saw that after they started building warehouses, their downtowns started looking nicer and, things started to look better.
Okay.
So that is a real thing.
Okay.
Because it is a lot of revenue.
It is.
It is a lot of revenue. So, and again, if your homeowners and your local businesses are your only tax base, you are not going to survive as a city.
Wow.
You've got to figure out ways to make revenue. So that's how you get cities sometimes with amphitheaters and other things.
Like that Trilith thing going on in Fayetteville down there.
Come on, I love it. I love Trilith. I love it. So, and that's how you get that. But it depends on, again, who's in your leadership,
Right.
who are the people that you're having these conversations with, whether they are developers or whether they are city planners or, people who really can tell you this is what your land is, this is how you keep so much green space, and this is how you do smart development. Because it has to be smart development.
Right.
Again, I don't know that I would have gone the full warehouse route, but when you see what your neighbors are doing, and I guess it
just makes sense, perhaps. Do we see a growth in employment, because of the warehouses, or we're not really able to get that data yet?
I don't know that I'm sure it exists. I have not seen any that says that we have, but I do know that there is a lot of revenue that leaves our community going back to where they live. They make the money here because we've got some. I mean, that postal facility is ginormous.
Yes.
There's other entities, and I don't know that I can say their names, but there are other entities, large companies, big companies
down there
that are in our city,
and then they go home,
and then all of their employees go home to their cities. And Palmetto is lacking in really a diverse selection of dining options.
Yes, that's important because
It's very
people
important.
like food.
Yes, I'm a foodie.
I'm a foodie
I
too.
am a foodie. I am a gluten-free, dairy-free,
Woo!
vegan-ish,
That's why
vegetarian-ish,
you look
snobbish,
good.
all of that.
You
So,
look good
well, thank
there.
you, sis.
Woo.
But yeah, So I have to drive outside of my community
to get what you need.
To have a meal. We've got a handful of fast food restaurants. We've got 3 Mexican restaurants.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
And 2 kind of soul food type restaurants.
And that's not right. That's not right.
We've got a local grocery store that some people can call a convenience store.
Right.
So we really are a food desert. We really are.
That's another problem.
We really are.
Yeah.
So I would love, for someone to put eyes on Palmetto and invest in a way that the residents, even starting a farmer's market.
Yeah. Or an Aldi or a Lidl or something.
Again, we've got to fix our water issue first.
Understood.
That's a real thing.
That's a thing, yeah.
That's a real thing.
Because every employee needs to wash their hands.
There is definitely that. And we want you to brush your teeth.
Yes, you got to wash your hands before you come out of the restrooms and things and all of that. So it's important.
Yeah. So, and again, that is sometimes the elephant in the room that people don't know is there.
Yeah.
I don't mind sharing it because at some point somebody is going to hear that and they're going to have the exact solution that Palmetto needs.
What I'm thinking.
So I keep putting it out there. There's a lot of very smart, innovative people that are thinking of ways to make our natural resources that aren't so resourceful.
Yeah.
If they're dwindling.
Yeah.
And this heat, like you said, this global warming and all of these things, it is making a difference. And if we are not careful, because we need water for food too.
Yes.
We need water.
Yeah.
So we got to start having. So again, I'm just putting these conversations out there so that again the right person hears them and finds the solution, because we are solution oriented. We're not focusing on the problems. We are heading straight ahead to all the solutions and the opportunities. You got to be in the room in order to know if somebody's there that can help you. So Palmetto has not been in a lot of rooms, but you're getting there. We're in the room.
You're getting there. How has City Hall been? I mean, you've been mayor now. What? This is the first quarter.
We are 2 months in.
2 months in.
Yes.
Are you starting to make changes within City Hall or seeing some changes? What is your goal for that?
So, City Hall, again, same mayor, long time. Particular type of personality.
Yes.
And a lot of what I think a lot of the citizens view to be unhappy employees.
Okay.
And I am this Teresa all the time. I am always happy. I just am.
Yeah. I've
been on the other side. This side is a lot better, so I choose to stay here. But people, so when I had never been in the mayor's office until I became the mayor.
Okay. In
the 4 years I was council, I was never invited into the mayor's office and never went in. So January 1st was my swearing in, and that was the very first day I went into the mayor's office. I started work the very next day, January 2nd, and got really sick, really sick. Well, come to find there's mold all throughout the administrative offices, my office and the city administrator's office. Just mold like you wouldn't believe. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. And so we couldn't work in there.
Yeah.
So we ended up having to move our council meetings out of our council chambers to the community center, which has been a great thing because we now have enough room for anybody who wants to attend. Lots and lots of people can come now versus a little bit. And we moved our city administrator, who I brought in the first city administrator in many years. City hadn't had one. Long story, long crazy story. But brought in a city administrator. So he moved into the council chambers and I moved into the conference room, which has a glass wall that is just off the lobby.
Nice.
So again, just very ordained. That I now am visible.
Yeah, that's that transparency part you talked about.
So when people come into City Hall to pay their bill, they see me sitting.
The mayor's in the office.
The mayor's in the office, and she is accessible. She talks to everybody that comes in. If they want to talk, I talk. They stop in. I'm sorry, Mayor, I don't mean to disturb you. No, let's do this. I'm here. So, I go to the elementary school, I go to the middle school, I've been to the high school, I'm here.
Yeah.
What are we doing? I believe in partnerships. I tell people there is so much more to have, do, and be in collaboration over competition. So how do we come together, and what are we doing? We got babies to raise, and I'm a doula. So, I'm all in the mix.
Ooh.
So I'm loving all of this.
I didn't have that down. I had coach, keynote speaker, MC, radio personality, podcast host. I didn't know nothing about the doula.
I am a certified holistic birth and postpartum doula. Yeah.
You do it all.
Yes. I told you I do what I love.
You do what you love. What does it feel like, Mayor, to be the first?
I think there's a part of me that I was 28 before I learned to love myself.
I heard that.
I'm just going to say that. So I think those years before 28 are still trying to grapple with it.
I got you.
So there have been times that I have almost downplayed it. Because it's still just little old Teresa from Adamsville.
But you ain't little old though.
You know what I mean? It's still just little old
understand,
Teresa from Adamsville. And I could go into some really heart-wrenching stories about my childhood, but there's a part of me, again, that imposter syndrome, that'll kick in and say, but this happened.
Right.
Remember when that happened?
Yeah.
Remember when you did this?
Yeah. Yeah.
All those little voices. But then it's like, yeah, but I'm the mayor, though.
You the mayor.
I'm the mayor. I am.
You the mayor, though.
Yeah. So sometimes I do have to remind myself.
Yes.
I tell this story that a couple of weeks ago, I guess it's about maybe 4:35, maybe about 5 o'clock in the morning. My husband wakes me up and he's like, babe, the lights are out. And I was like, okay, is it us or is it everybody? Because he'll get up and check.
Yeah.
And he said, it's everybody. The whole neighborhood is out.
Okay.
I said, okay. You woke me up to tell me that?
Yeah.
He said, babe, you the mayor.
You the mayor.
I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna get up there, right? Okay. My phone hadn't rung yet.
Yeah, because they would sleep too.
Yeah, well, no, believe it or not, because I have such an amazing city administrator who is allowed to do his job as an amazing city administrator.
He was on it.
They were already on it.
They would take on top of it.
Yeah, the people were already out working on it.
Yeah.
By the time I woke up and started
it was
texting
already,
people, they were like, man,
it.
we got this.
Yeah.
But that's what it looks like when you empower people and allow them to do the job you hired them to do.
That's what it is.
And that's a new thing in our city. So it's a beautiful thing to see it work like it's supposed to work.
I know that's right.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So it's a happier place. The vibe of the whole city is elevating daily.
Awesome.
The people talk about they speaking to each other again when they see each other driving down the street. And, it's been coming together better.
That's good.
We have an artist who is pretty renowned that lives in our city that had been trying to bring some art into the city.
Yeah.
And unbeknownst to me, when I created the Cultural Arts Committee that barely got passed, but did, barely got passed, the Cultural Arts Committee, that we had a real artist living in our city. So the committee has been meeting. They've been putting some things together. So Palmetto is doing some stuff. I'm super excited. And she has these neon signs that she curates, and they're all over the South. They go on residency to different cities in the South. They have all these different slogans on them. So the first two have made their way home to Palmetto, and they happen to be harmony and unity, which are two words that I use because I just believe in those. We came to harmonize and be unified on this planet, and until we get it, we're going to be in a bad situation.
This mayor is awesome.
So we hung them from City Hall, and we got so much positive feedback. But then we had somebody who decided they were going to start a narrative in the community that now City Hall now looks like a liquor store.
What? Anyway,
we move in unity and harmony, and that's the only way we're going to be able to do these things that we believe we can do, because my campaign slogan was "Believe in Palmetto." Just believe in us. I'm talking to the developers and the businesses that want to come and help us to be, you don't want to lose that small town feel.
Yeah. But
you don't want to take away the character because there's so much character in this.
Right.
We want to be a historic city. So when you come, you have that dubious distinction so that when you're selling your goods and your wares and providing your services, you know that people understand and recognize the value of you and of you being in the historic city of Palmetto.
Yeah. And the residents deserve that.
They do.
They deserve to have a community type feel and a neighborhood type feel. And if they don't want to drive anywhere, they should be able to get that right in their neighborhood.
Yes.
A couple of miles away.
Not even a couple of miles. You can get anywhere in Palmetto in 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Literally, I know one resident that is 99 years old, still drives.
Yeah, that's
99,
nice.
89, 88. That first never thought they would see this day
I know
to get a
that's
twofer.
right.
I think they would have been cool, some of them with either or. But they got a 2 for 1.
They got a 2 for 1.
Well, yeah.
First.
Yes.
African American.
Yes.
Female.
Yes.
Mayor of Palmetto.
No, first African American and first female. Okay. Those are 2 separate. Yes, ma'am.
Get me together.
That's why I'm saying they got a twofer. So to be chosen for this.
Yes.
Right now, in this movement that's happening, because whether you are here for it or not, and I mean here for it and not just physically.
Yeah.
Whether you're here for it or not, it's happening.
Yeah.
And since life is all about choices, you can choose what side of it you'd like to be on. Because there are still those that are having a hard time.
It's okay.
That this is happening.
Yeah, it's happening.
But the ing means it is on. It's a continuum.
Yeah.
So if you got a problem with it now, I'm suggest wherever it is, and it's not just here. We were at an event the other night. There were 8 first-time African American female mayors in one room.
Wow.
From 8 cities in Metro Atlanta. Wow. There were 3 more that were not in that mix. So we're talking about a movement that's happening.
Yeah.
And we have committed to make sure we are connected and supporting each other.
That's awesome.
So because it's happening, you can't escape it.
Yeah. Fasten your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelt.
And enjoy the ride.
And enjoy the ride.
Enjoy the ride.
I would love to have you come back.
Okay.
Yeah, because I want you to get in your position more. It's new. It's only 60 days.
It is.
And I want to talk to you down the road when things are happening, and I want to come back and visit your town and see how things are progressing, and because you're doing some great things. You've done some great things.
Thank you.
I know there's more great things on the horizon.
Yes.
And this passion and this energy that you have can't be contained.
No.
It's out here. So I would love for you to come back and just share progress and updates and everything about all the things that are going on in Palmetto.
I would love to.
Because you got things to do. You got work to do.
Oh, yes.
You got work to do.
I'm here for it, too.
How can people reach you, Mayor? What's the best and appropriate way to just maybe follow you if you're on social media, or reach your office if they have questions? What's the best way?
So I am looking for an intern. To do my social media.
Wow.
I really am.
Yeah.
I want to continue pouring. I do mentoring. I do a lot of mentoring with juveniles, but I usually have them in the juvenile justice system. But I want someone who I can pour into that can get this, because this is a thing. And they can find me on Instagram at I am Mayor Teresa, Teresa. I am Mayor Teresa. And I am on Facebook at Mayor Teresa Thomas Smith. But also, come to City Hall. Don't come. You can come. There's not a lot to do there yet. But
I think your intern might be at Mays High School, your old alma mater. Your old alma mater. Because the energy, I've spoken at Mays once or twice.
Okay.
The energy is just ferocious. It's beautiful because they resonate in the fact that greats have walked their halls.
Come on. Okay, I like that.
You know, and I think that because you went to Mays, you probably probably can get an instant connection with the right people and develop a program where people can learn the judicial system.
Oh yeah,
being a council person as well as handling your social media platform, because change is here.
And what an amazing gift you just gave me. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Because they're seeing more people like yourselves and Vice President Kamala Harris. And there are people that look like us in political places, and they don't know how to start that journey. And it could be as simple as being an intern for an awesome mayor like yourself.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Listen, that was good. This was my time today. You know me, Real Chicks Rock. I'm everywhere. You can catch me on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on X. Listen, go to the website, subscribe, because we send out blogs and newsletters. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, because you know you're going to play this again and again and again. Hit the little bell, ding, 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 so you can be notified for every new episode that we put out there. But that's my time. But until next time, may you live to be 100 and I live to be 100 minus a day, so I would not know that beautiful people like you had passed away.